Hey guys, what's up? Here's another video. Over the years I have been collecting a lot of video games, and there are specific series that I like a lot because I have been playing those games since I was a kid and they are my favorite series. So I've decided to show some little pieces of my collection, and I'm gonna start with my Final Fantasy collection because it seems just appropriate since this game just got released less than a month ago. I just achieved Platinum and I enjoyed to play it quite a lot, okay? Hope you guys enjoyed the video, let's go for it. In first place, most of my collection is heavily focused in European versions, meaning that I don't have much stuff from Japan or the United States, and that kinda limits my collection, but I have to focus on something, otherwise I would never stop spending money on video games, and I don't really want that for the moment. Second thing is, I don't really have everything, but I have quite a big collection. I hope to expand in the future. Hopefully I'll be able to buy some of the things that I'm still missing. Okay, so let's do this. So let's start from the beginning with the first game released in Europe, which was Final Fantasy VII, followed by Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy IX. Shortly after, or sometime in the middle, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy Origins and Final Fantasy Anthology. Besides all that, I also have for the PlayStation 1 the Final Fantasy VIII box set, as well as the promo copy of the game and the press disc that were included in the press kit of the game. And the press kit of the game is basically the same box set as this one, but instead of coming with the regular game, they come with a promo copy and this bonus disc. Moving on to the PlayStation 2, I have Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy XII and Final Fantasy X-2. Okay, these are just the regular games, but on top of that, I also have the press kit for Final Fantasy X and the press kit for Final Fantasy XII. Okay, the last one is not in perfect condition. Now let's go for the Game Boy. Unfortunately, I don't have anything for the original Game Boy. I started with Game Boy Advance and I have Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy IV Advance, Final Fantasy V Advance, Final Fantasy VI Advance, and finally Final Fantasy I and II Dawn of Souls. Going on with handheld systems, I have for the Nintendo DS Final Fantasy III, Final Fantasy The Four Heroes of Light, Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2, Final Fantasy Ring of Fates, and Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Echoes of Time. Still on the Nintendo side, I have Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the original game for Nintendo GameCube, as well as Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles The Crystal Bearers for the Nintendo Wii, and Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo Dungeon for the Nintendo Wii as well. I also had the other game, Echoes of Time, for Nintendo Wii, but it seems that I misplaced the game and I couldn't find it. It's somewhere mixed up with my other games from other systems probably. Going on with handheld consoles, I have Final Fantasy IV, the complete collection for PlayStation Portable, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, The War of the Lions, and Final Fantasy I. I don't have the second game for PSP, unfortunately, at least not yet. I also have Final Fantasy Crystal Core, Crisis Core, what am I talking about? I have Crisis Core, the Collector's Edition as well, followed by Dissidia, Collector's Edition, and Dissidia Duodecim, also the Legacy Edition. And for the PSP, I also have two bundles, the limited edition Crisis Core PSP system and the exclusive bundle or whatever this is for Dissidia. This was actually a mistake because it's a regular console with a few bonus items and not an exclusive model, which is a shame. And let's go for the PlayStation 3, starting with Final Fantasy XIII Limited Collector's Edition, as well as two regular games that just have an exclusive slipcase, nothing special. And I also have the Final Fantasy XIII-2 Limited Collector's Edition. Then we have Lightning Returns, the Steelbook edition, the limited edition of Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster, as well as A Realm Reborn, the Collector's Edition, just the regular game, which is called Collector's Edition. But on top of that, I also have the complete Collector's Edition as well. And this is it for the PlayStation 3. For the Xbox 360, I pretty much have the same games as I have for PlayStation 3, which are the limited collector's edition of Final Fantasy 13, the 2 exclusive slipcases, then I have the limited collector's edition for 13.2 and the online editions of Final Fantasy 11, the regular online edition with the expansion packs, 2007 edition and 2008 edition. Besides these, I also forgot to mention that I have the Crystal Edition for both platforms of Final Fantasy 13-2. For the Nintendo 3DS, I have the Collector's Edition of Final Fantasy Explorers and the Collector's Edition of Theathrythm Curtain Call. I also have the original game, but unfortunately it's just a regular game that seems to be misplaced as well, probably mixed with my other games from different platforms, and I could not find it. And we've finally reached the PlayStation 4, and this is where my collection starts to lack a lot of games and editions. But let's start with the Collector's Edition of Final Fantasy Type O HD, the regular edition, not the Square Enix Store exclusive cover, and World of Final Fantasy Collector's Edition as well. And on its own, I'm gonna show the Final Fantasy 15 Ultimate Collector's Edition. That's probably the only really expensive edition I bought from Square Enix Store, because I skipped almost every other release for the PlayStation 4. And finally, for the PlayStation 4, I also have Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age Limited Steelbook Edition, same edition for Dissidia NT. Finally, Final Fantasy VII Remake Deluxe Edition. I didn't buy the most expensive edition because it's a soft bundle, meaning it comes with the PlayArt Sky figurine, but it's not an edition on itself, it's just a bundle of the figurine and the deluxe edition. And I don't have the online games except for Heavensward and Stormblood, but I don't have the original Final Fantasy XIV game, so these are basically useless. I only bought them because they were really cheap. And that's it for my collection. It's pretty much all I have. I'm still missing a lot of editions for the PlayStation 4, but I hope to buy some of them in the future if they are still available somewhere else, because they are mostly sold out on the official website.